What if the smiling faces you see on screen are hiding something darker? China Anne McClain, the fan-favorite star of House of Pain and Disney's Descendants, is finally speaking out. And what she says about Tyler Perry will shock you. Behind the lights, scripts, and fame was a world of silence, control, and emotional pain. In her own words, "I wasn't safe there." Why did one of Hollywood's most beloved child stars feel silenced on set? And what does this mean for Perry's empire? Stick around, because the truth she's revealing might change everything you thought you knew. Born into a musically gifted family in Atlanta, with a father who produced music and a mother who wrote songs, China was destined for the spotlight. She landed her first movie role in the gospel at just 7 years old. Her big break came when Tyler Perry cast her as Jasmine Payne in House of Pain in 2007. With millions tuning in, the show became a cultural staple, and China's portrayal of the witty, sharp-tongued Jasmine quickly made her a fan favorite. To the public, it looked like she had it all. But behind the scenes, China was beginning to struggle. Over the years, she gave subtle hints in interviews about feeling stifled and unheard. In one particularly telling 2022 podcast appearance, she shared, "There were times when I felt like a product, not a person, especially when I was younger." She didn't name names, but fans began to connect the dots, especially after her more recent revelations. Insiders from the set of House of Pain later came forward, confirming what many suspected: a strict do-as-you're-told culture. Actors, especially young ones, had no control over their characters, their schedules, or their voices. For a child like China, that environment wasn't just demanding, it was emotionally draining. Still, she kept showing up. She smiled for the cameras. She did her job. She believed this was the price of success, especially for a young black actress working with someone as influential as Tyler Perry. But as she grew older, her perspective shifted. She began to recognize the imbalance. She started asking questions. By the time she returned to the rebooted House of Pain in 2020, China had changed. Spiritually and emotionally, she was stronger. No longer the wide-eyed teen, she had boundaries and a clear vision for herself, one that clashed with some of the creative directions the show was taking. She reportedly voiced concerns about scenes that conflicted with her Christian beliefs, particularly those involving adult humor or themes she felt were inappropriate for her character. She wasn't demanding control, just respect. But according to those close to the production, her concerns were often dismissed or ignored. One source revealed that she requested a private meeting with Tyler Perry himself to discuss the discomfort she was experiencing. She walked into that meeting with hope. She walked out in tears. That was the moment everything changed. From that day forward, China began to emotionally and professionally withdraw. Her energy on set was different. Social media posts turned cryptic, with captions about spiritual warfare and feeling trapped. In one Instagram Live, she said, "The enemy isn't always obvious. Sometimes he comes in the form of opportunity, or people you once trusted." At the time, fans thought she was referring to the industry in general. Now, many believe it was aimed at someone very specific. Not long after, China Anne McClain began pulling away from House of Pain and other Tyler Perry-related projects. There was no dramatic farewell, no explosive headlines, just a quiet, deliberate retreat. But fans noticed. Her absence wasn't just professional, it was personal, spiritual, and deeply intentional. Something had shifted. And then, everything changed. In a moment that set social media ablaze, China went live on Instagram. What started as a casual check-in quickly became something far more raw and emotional. With glassy eyes and a steady voice, she looked straight into the camera and said, "I've been quiet for a long time, but I'm not going to be silent anymore. I need to speak my truth." That single sentence turned whispers into headlines and marked the beginning of a conversation Hollywood couldn't ignore. Without naming anyone directly, China exposed the emotional manipulation and pressure she faced. She spoke of people in the industry who claimed to do God's work, but use their power to control others. She described moments where she objected to scenes that felt morally wrong and was told to do them anyway. "They'll say they're giving you a platform," she said, "but what they really want is obedience. And if you push back, you're labeled difficult." Within hours, her live went viral. The hashtags #China Anne McClain, #House of Pain Truth, and #Tyler Perry Exposed began trending. Clips were reposted on YouTube, TikTok, and every major gossip blog. Support poured in. So did skepticism. Sources from Tyler Perry Studios reportedly tried to do damage control. Some insiders say a cease and desist letter was drafted, though never officially sent. But China stood firm. In a follow-up post, she wrote, "You don't scare me. I'm covered. And I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to tell the truth." Then came the domino effect. A former co-star from The Haves and the Have-Nots posted a black screen with 4 words: "She told no lies." A former assistant director from If Loving You Is Wrong tweeted, "There's so much the public doesn't know. Working under that system isn't as empowering as it looks." A background actor shared on TikTok, "People think working for Tyler Perry is a dream, but it's a machine. If you ask questions, you're gone." As the voices grew louder, cracks began to show in Tyler Perry's once bulletproof reputation. Critics started asking tough questions. Why is he the only writer on most of his shows? Why do so many actors talk about burnout? Why is collaboration treated like betrayal? A leaked memo from Tyler Perry Studios reportedly showed an internal PR strategy to manage social media blowback and limit public engagement. Was the studio trying to control the narrative, or just scrambling to save face? The silence from Tyler Perry has been deafening. No press release, no interviews, no public statement, just silence. And sometimes, that says more than words ever could. While he remains quiet, the world is buzzing, and China Anne McClain is moving forward with boldness and purpose. She's no longer the soft-spoken child star smiling on cue. She's a woman with a mission. With a new YouTube series, China is creating space for truth, transparency, and raw conversations about the realities of the entertainment industry. She's not just telling her story, she's using her platform to uplift and protect others. Young actors, young women, especially those who, like her, once believed that opportunity had to come at the cost of their peace. And it doesn't stop there. Behind the scenes, China Anne McClain is writing a memoir, one that promises to be as revealing as it is redemptive. According to publishing insiders, the book won't just mention Tyler Perry. He'll be named explicitly in several key chapters. But this isn't a revenge piece. As one source put it, it's a spiritual testimony, a truth-telling. She's writing to heal, not hurt. In her own words, China declared, "I'd rather be canceled by the world than silenced by my own spirit. God gave me this voice. I won't waste it anymore." This isn't just about one woman's courage. It's about a system that often rewards silence over honesty. A system where young black women are applauded on screen and suppressed behind the scenes. China Anne McClain is no longer staying quiet. And whether Tyler Perry ever speaks or not, the world is finally listening. So, what's your take? Truth teller or industry shakeup? Let us know in the comments. If you stand with China Anne McClain, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more eye-opening stories. Turn on notifications, because at World of Stars, we reveal the truths others stay silent about. Thanks for watching.